A very good morning to one and all. I am Niloofer, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Amal College of Advanced Studies, Nilambur. Today we will be discussing about the basics of optical fiber communication. Today we are going to cover the topics: overview of optical fiber communication, the historical development, about the general communication system, about the optical fiber communication system, the advantages, disadvantages and applications of optical fiber communication system. To transfer an information over a distance communication, a communication medium is used. Usually, the information signal is modulated onto a carrier signal, which is an electromagnetic wave. The modulated signal is passed through a medium and is demodulated at the receiver's side. Here, in an optical fiber communication system, the carriers are selected from the optical range of frequencies for the communication. While we are discussing about the historical development, before 1970s, the digital communication was entirely based on electronics and the transmission was carried over the electrical coaxial cables at 565 megabytes per second over a 1 kilometer distance between the regenerators. With the introduction of LED and MMF single channel capacities of 45 to 90 Mbps and the transmission on a 10 kilometer radius were possible. In 1980s, the optical switches started being used for sparing of the injection lasers in submarine systems. In the late 1980s, the SMF and injection lasers made it possible to transmit 565 megabytes per second to 2.5 gigabytes per second over a 100 kilometer distance. In the early 1990s, the practical optical amplifiers, which is called as erbium doped fiber amplifiers, were introduced. In the mid of 1990s, the business DWDM was introduced. The DWDM system from the beginning of 1995 could transmit a 2 to 16 wavelength channels at the same time. The early DWDM transported optical signals point to point. In the late 1990s, the advances in fiber optic technology provides the basis to increase the DWDM capacity to 40 to 120 wavelengths and extended a transmission distance of 100 kilometers. The optical add or dop multiplexers were incorporated at sites between the end terminals. Now we will be discussing about the general communication system. The function of a general communication system is to convey the signals from the information source over a transmission medium to the destination. The electrical communications information source provides the electrical signals usually derived from a message signal, for example sound, to a transmitter that modulates, and it is transmitted to through a transmission medium to the receiver. The receiver end demodulates the signals and it is transmitted to the destination. Coming to the optical fiber communication system, the information source provides an electrical signals to transmit which drives an optical signals to give the modulation of the light wave carrier. The optical source which provides the electrical optical conversion may be a light emitting semiconductor laser or a light emitting diode. The transmission medium consists of an optical fiber cable and the receiver consists of an optical dictator, which provides the demodulation of the optical carrier. The photodiodes, phototransistors and the photoconductors are utilized for the dictation. The optical dictator dictates the wave and transmit to the electrical receiver, then it is transmitted to the destination. This is the overview of a fiber optical communication system. Now we will be discussing about the advantages of optical fiber communication. Here we are discussing the advantages compared to the metal wires or copper transmission mediums. First, the bandwidth of the optical fiber communication system is greater than that of copper cables. Here the optical fiber system utilizes less power loss and allows the data transmission over a long distance. The optical fiber cables is resistance for the electromagnetic interferences. The size of the fiber cable is 4.5 times greater than that of the or better than that of a copper wire. The cables are lighter, thinner and occupy less area compared with the metal wires. And coming to the installation part, it is very easy to install an optical fiber cable compared to the metallic wire because it is of less weight. The optical fiber cable is very hard to tap because they do not produce the electromagnetic energy. These cables are very secure while transmitting a data over a long distance. A fiber optic cable is very flexible, easy to bend and opposes most acidic elements that hit the copper wire. Now we will be discussing about the disadvantages of a fiber optic communication. Here the optical fiber cables are very difficult to merge like metal cable, that there will be a loss of the beam within the cable while scattering. The disadvantages of optical fiber communication. Here the optical fiber cables are very difficult to merge compared to the metal wires because there will be a loss of the beam within the cable while scattering. The installation of these cables is cost effective, that is they are not as robust as the metal wires. Special test equipments are needed to install the optical cables. Fiber optical cables are highly vulnerable while fitting compared to the metal wires. These cables are most delicate than copper wires. Then for the transmission of fiber cable, for the data transmission through a fiber cable, special devices are needed to check the transmission. So today we had discussed the basics of optical fiber communication, and we had compared the communication of a general communication system using a metal wire and the optical fiber communication. I hope all of you understand this topic. Thank you.